Hey, welcome to the 42 Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Kajila. This is a space built primarily for athletes where their stories are told and shared with the world. The name 42 means for the athlete to the world, and that's exactly our mission. Along the way, we'll also dive into everything happening in our wonderful world of sports. So whether you're an athlete, a fan, or just love a good story, you are in the right place. Hey, welcome back to the 42 Sports Podcast. My name is Joshua Kajila, and I'm so glad to be with you once again. This week has been amazing, and thank you so much for the support and all the love that you have shown the show so far. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends and your family and on social media. Also, FYI, we are now officially on YouTube, and so if you do want to show some love to the show, why don't you subscribe to the 42 Sports Podcast on YouTube? That's at the 42 Sports Podcast, and you'll find us there. And subscribe would be appreciated, a like or a comment. It's pretty much just the audio at this stage, and we're going to be looking at video too. But let's not waste too much time. We're talking about the Premier League fixtures this weekend, and starting off with the Blues versus the Reds, Chelsea versus Liverpool. This is going to be a great fixture. I think it's going to be a great fixture. I've actually gotten a lot of flack from Chelsea fans. They tell me that I haven't been showing them enough love on the show, and it's definitely not been intentional. It's just Chelsea's kind of in an awkward position, I think, this season. They came into it with a lot of optimism and high hopes after being crowned the Club World Cup champions, the champions of the world. And then they find themselves losing 3-1 to Brighton at home, losing to a very premature United side, if I can put it that way. So it's not intentional that I've been ignoring them. It's just Chelsea's a bit hard to speak about at this stage. But I think if they do beat Liverpool, a victory against Liverpool has the potential to maybe change the trajectory of their season. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how they cope without their star player. They also have, I think, 6 or 7 more players that are currently unavailable. So it adds to the challenge for them. But something else that works in their favor is this Liverpool side recently. And I spoke about this on Wednesday, so I'm not going to go into too much detail now. But this Liverpool side is showing signs and glimpses of weaknesses. They started off the season on fire, and it seemed like they were the team to beat. And they still are, maybe them and Palace. But they have now lost back-to-back away games. And so Chelsea has the chance to extend that negative streak for Liverpool. And just a quick side note, it's super funny just seeing the Liverpool fans online starting to freak out about where they're at in this season. Or, losing back-to-back games, away games. Meanwhile, United's trying to win back-to-back games. Regardless of if it's home or away, we're just trying to win back-to-back games. And Liverpool fans are literally imploding because they lost back-to-back, and they're saying, how is our team so bad compared to last year? And there's frustration now being directed towards some of their new signings. But it's just, showing you the difference in standards between United and Liverpool. But sorry, going back to Chelsea, I think they do have the potential to really set their season on fire with a victory against Liverpool. Liverpool, top of the league, they have the potential to cause some trouble. And if they do, I think that will give them a boost going into the international break. The next few fixtures, 5 fixtures, including Liverpool, are quite doable, I feel, without Palmer. So we have Liverpool, we have Forest, we have Sunderland, Spurs. That's going to be a tricky one. And then we have Wolves at home. So I think this Chelsea side, yes, they do have many injuries, but I think they're kind of fortunate because those fixtures could have been a lot worse. And so I think they are in a good space to maybe cause a bit of trouble against Liverpool. And it will be interesting to see how exactly they do so without their star man, Cole Palmer. Now, moving on to Liverpool, they have 5 tough fixtures, including Chelsea. So they'll be playing Chelsea and then United and a bunch of other tricky fixtures. For them, they're also in a very interesting spot in the season. As I mentioned earlier, I mean, back-to-back defeats, away defeats. It's another away game, so there's potential for 3 away defeats in a row. And for Liverpool, they are looking to get better. I mean, they've spent so much. I mean, on Isak, on Ekitike, on Wirtz, on Frimpong, Kirkes, a lot of talented players. Some of them haven't really settled in that quickly. The likes of Wirtz, Frimpong, and Kirkes. I think Ekitike has been a brilliant striker. It's a shame that he has to compete with Isak. But that's what Liverpool fans and I guess the rest of the league is kind of waiting for those new signings to really add to this Liverpool squad. Because, I mean, I saw a couple of tweets where Liverpool fans were putting Wirtz, Frimpong and Kirkes on the bench. And that's shocking to me. Well, I haven't watched Liverpool that closely this season. But it's interesting how you can drop a lot of money on players and then it just not work out, and you have to go back to some of the guys who are in last year's squad and you have to rely on them. For Liverpool, this game against Chelsea is a lot more important than just, okay, a trip to the bridge and collecting the points. It's important because their next 5 fixtures are quite tricky compared to Arsenal's next 5 fixtures. Arsenal's next 5 are very easy, and they're only 2 points behind Liverpool at this stage. And so if Liverpool do drop points, Arsenal are going to be delighted. Liverpool is going to be under pressure because Arsenal are facing West Ham. And they'll be playing earlier than Liverpool. But I think if Liverpool does drop points, and I spoke about this on Wednesday, but if they do drop points, then they are going to put themselves in a very tricky position where Arsenal are going to gain some confidence. And it's not going to look too great for the Reds after spending a lot of money this summer. And Arsenal will be delighted if they do fail to secure the points against Chelsea. If Chelsea manages to beat Liverpool, then I think Arsenal will be ecstatic because not only is that like a 3rd defeat in a row, but now Arsenal has the chance to take over by 1 point. And Arsenal, we're going to look at Arsenal's fixture with West Ham. They are playing West Ham at home, a West Ham team that is still finding their feet. So it's a big opportunity for the Gunners to really just lay their mark down, to tell the rest of the league that, hey, we're ready to win the league. We're ready to win the title this year. We want to go all the way. And Arteta needs to encourage his players to show a bit of mentality, strong mentality for the next 5 fixtures, because it doesn't just stop with the West Ham game. I'm assuming they're going to win. It's football, so things can happen, but everything going into this game is indicating or pointing towards an Arsenal victory. I think even the West Ham fans would agree with that. But for the next 5 fixtures, very easy. Every single game, they have to believe that they are champions. In the past, it's been the mentality of this Arsenal side that has let them down. Tactically, brilliant team. Defensively, especially, a brilliant team. But mentally, that's where they have fallen short of the last few seasons. And so, they go to West Ham, or no, rather, West Ham is going to the Emirates, so Arsenal is at home, which is better. They can put 3 goals up, win 3-0, win 4-0, and that communicates to Liverpool that, hey, we're putting pressure on you from the start of the season, and we're going to maintain this pressure until the end of the season. And so Arsenal cannot take this West Ham fixture for granted, especially with the position that West Ham is in, where they're still lower on the league table. They have a new manager now, Nuno, and he's looking to create some positive momentum. So that's the only danger that I do see from this fixture, is the appointment of Nuno and how he's trying to implement his ideas. We know he's a great manager. We saw it at Forest last season. It's crazy that Forest still sacked him, but that's not what today's podcast is about. But yeah, that's all of that to say Arsenal need to go into that game looking to be clinical, score multiple goals, and leave no doubts about their performance. They cannot take it for granted. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Before we dive back into the episode, I'd love it if you could take a quick moment to support this podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leaving a review or a rating goes a long way. And if you're watching on YouTube, a like, a comment, or even subscribing would mean the world to me. All right, that's enough from my side. Let's get back into the show. Speaking about not taking anything for granted, United is going up against Sunderland at Old Trafford. United hosting the newly promoted Black Cats. I think when the fixtures were drawn up before the season started, this probably would have been a relatively insignificant game. And I think United fans would have seen the Sunderland fixture, especially before the Liverpool fixture next, I can't even say next week because there's an international break. But they would have seen it as an easy 3 points. Newly promoted side. A lot of changes actually to the Sunderland side from the Championship. A lot of transfers. But now, because of the start to the season that both of these clubs have made, it becomes a bit more interesting. Sunderland currently placed 5th and United are 14th. Amorim is under immense pressure. And Sunderland is looking to... Can I even say an upset? I mean, 5th versus 14th. I don't know if I can say that's an upset. But this is definitely going to be my game to watch. And yes, I'm a United fan, so I'm going to watch it anyways. But I think if Amorim gets a result, not just a result, but a performance, I think that's the bare minimum. You're Manchester United, you're playing at home. You have to get the result and you have to have a good performance. I know that Jim Ratcliffe is still confident that Amorim is the guy to take United to higher heights. But I think from him and his leadership, Wilcox and Barada, I don't think, and I stand to be corrected, I don't know how much more patience they can have for the lackluster and lethargic displays that United have been putting on for quite some time. And so United's going to need a very big performance against Sunderland, because this is a very well-coached team. On Wednesday, I kind of undermined Sunderland's season so far because they haven't really played any big teams, the biggest team being Crystal Palace. A very well-coached Crystal Palace team, undefeated in the league. But besides that, they've mostly played average teams, below average teams. A lot of those teams are going to be bottom half teams this season. So after maybe looking at a few clips of the Sunderland side, they are a well-coached team, very dynamic. They play a standard 4-3-3, but they shift around quite a bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how United handles that. But I think United should not be should not be going into this game with a negative mindset. You're at home, you're at Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams. Don't turn it into a theatre of nightmares. Because the last thing that United needs, or Old Trafford needs, is for that first 5 to 10 minutes to be chaotic, with Sunderland dominating possession, creating a lot of chances. Something else I saw, a stat that was interesting, is Sunderland, in terms of just like set pieces and all of that, they are one of the higher performing teams. They do really well from set pieces and crosses into the box. Ruben Amorim has a choice to make with his keeper. Does he stick with Bayendier? It pains me to say this, but he's probably going to stick with Bayendier. Knowing him, very cautious, very stubborn in his ways. So he's going to pick Bayendier, but I want him to play Lamens tomorrow, because Bayendier, as tall as he is quite weak when it comes to defending his 6-yard area, or just his box in general. He hasn't been as bad as Onana, but hasn't been anywhere near where United goalkeeper should be. So that's concerning to me. I think Sunderland has a lot of different opportunities to create goals. I mean, any side does against this United team, unfortunately, at this stage. So Ruben Amorim, what I would like to see from him is for him to show courage in his team selection. Maybe consider starting Lamens. I don't know if Mainu's really going to play. I don't think he's going to change the system. And for me, and United fans around the world might disagree, but I don't need him to change the formation. Just like tweak one or two things, because clearly it's not working. It's not working. I mean, the team that you put out against Brentford, that besides Casemiro and Ugarte, if that's your starting team, your go-to team, then Amorim, you're going to have problems. So I want to see some inspired team selection on Saturday, because already before the game, there's going to be a lot of negativity from media, from United media, not just any media, if Amorim doesn't look to change things up. So I'm not asking for him to change the formation. Doesn't need to do that, but he needs to change something. Because if this United team doesn't start well, it's going to be a very nervy afternoon. And Sunderland are a well-coached team. They're going to be patient. They don't need to have the ball. But when they do get the ball, they're very intentional. And that intentionality we haven't seen from Ruben Amorim's side since he took over. So to my United brothers and sisters, please enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. I cannot guarantee that you'll enjoy tomorrow. Okay, that's just where United is at the moment. And so I don't know what to expect tomorrow at Old Trafford. And that's the scary thing. And Ruben Amorim said it himself. He doesn't know what he's going to expect from his own team, which is concerning. But that's just the reality of where the club is at. That brings us to a close for this episode. It's going to be a great weekend of Premier League soccer and sports in general. Also, the Springboks are playing Argentina. We didn't really chat about it much on this episode, but I'm expecting a big performance from the Boks to clinch the rugby championship. Be kind to those of your friends and family who may be supporting a losing side this weekend. You never know when it could be your turn, and you don't want them to be teasing you when your team is down. Speaking of which, if you are listening to the show, why don't you share this podcast with your friends and family? Why should you have all the fun? I don't think that's fair. But anyways, alright, I'm done for this week. Have a great weekend. I'm Joshua Kishila, and this is the 42 Sports Podcast for the athlete to the world.